Hey.
How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well.
It's September.
It's September. We
And
just finished the first few days with kiddos.
yeah,
How,
so
how did it
back to
go?
school.
How'd it go for you?
Yeah, so year 18
Mm-hmm.
is has begun.
It has.
So 18 years
Not for me.
of elementary school. I feel like I'm a Bart Simpson or I'm a South Park character because those both those cartoons, they're habitually in fourth grade
That's true.
and they never kind of age out, and it's
I
kind of
hadn't thought
how
of it that way
pretty much my
before.
last 18 years have been, where I'm habitually a fourth or in fifth grade. So it went well. It was a new school,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of new things to learn, but I don't know, I feel like as a teacher, you stress and you prepare and you prepare and you do too much probably, and then you really just need the kids to be there, and just once you get in the groove, you get in the groove and everything falls into
Yeah.
place. And then
The
yeah.
first, nobody knows how to do the first. I was just telling my student teacher that. She's like, I don't feel like we are, and yes, we prepared, and yes, we did all this, and yes, I'm grateful, but it's never. And I was like, yeah, nobody knows how to do it. I have been at this. This is year 10. Every year, I'm like, how do we do this again? How do we do school? Because we've all
I also feel like
not done it for 2 months.
yeah, like over the summer, those 2 months, like I have like come August, I start to have those dreams, those like stress dreams about work,
About not
and
being prepared.
not being prepared, or just and I always wonder, do I remember how to do it? Like it's been
Yes,
like
that's
taking
what I'm
a
saying.
break.
You never feel like it, and then you get into it, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I know, I know how to do this, and
but I shouldn't. In my mind, I shouldn't have that thought because I've been doing it for almost 2 decades. I shouldn't have that.
I would be curious if you're a teacher watching this.
And you've taught more than 18
Has
years.
it ever gone away?
Does it go away?
Does it is there a point where you're like, you know what, and you just roll into the year feeling very, very confident that you know exactly what you're going to do?
And I would say maybe if you're teaching the same grade every year in the same school, the same, like nothing changes.
But I've been doing that for 6 years. I've been at the same school, same grade.
Yeah, I guess I moved.
And even before that, I was in the same grade at a different school.
Yeah.
And sometimes I loop with kids, and sometimes I don't. Same with you.
Yeah.
And then you're still I don't know.
Let us know.
If it's gotten better for you, I'd be interested to know at what point I can look forward to that.
18 years in, and I'll still take advice.
Yeah. Kids are kids, though. I will say, one of the things I appreciate is that the last few years have started to feel a little bit more normal. Kids are starting to feel like kids again, instead of some of that COVID crazy, right? We're starting to actually cycle through that. And
no, I can say kids in my grade, fourth grade, have officially
aged out of it.
Aged out of COVID. So all the kids I see from this point were, they weren't part of COVID. They, as far as COVID and being in school, that they're all up at your level now. The last little bit.
Yeah, I am close to that. Mine, I think, still experienced it, but it wasn't detrimental like some of the it's been. We're getting there. We're getting normal, and so that feels good too. Some of the stuff that happens feels like it did before. So, kids are a little bit more open, and we have a little more fun, and it's not. Yeah, it's starting to feel normal. So it's often that we think about these first going back, babe.
Yeah.
Tell me about your why. If you're not in education, one of the things that comes up every single year.
Yeah, whether it's an interview or
yeah.
just your first PD, professional development, or your first team whole staff thing.
Why are you in education? What keeps you coming back? And as corny as it is, and every year you're I have to do this again. It is, I think, missing from most jobs to think about why you're doing what you're doing. Like, I feel like education, we're asked to think about it a lot, but like, I can't think of another. Like, I had other jobs. You did too.
Yeah,
before,
other
like
careers,
no
not
other
jobs.
careers. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants.
Yeah, to a
Nobody wants
point.
you to maybe think that hard about why you're
Yeah,
at their
and that's a lot of pressure.
corporation. But
it's also a job.
yeah, so
And
it's interesting.
so,
Like, it's a
yeah.
you know. But I will say that within education, or within, like, whenever you're working with human beings,
For sure, that's probably
it
better way to go.
probably is like a really good thing to do, is to like think about,
Especially like a service-driven industry.
yeah, like, you need to remember why you're there.
Yeah.
Because most of us, and it's not, it's not unique to education. Like, again, if you're a nurse, if you're in ministry, if you know,
Police,
any kind
fire,
of
yeah.
police, yeah,
Yeah.
like, if you're interacting with people, there was a reason you got into it. That is probably not just, well, it's a job.
Yeah.
Like, if I just wanted a job, I had a job, right? And
Yeah.
we were doing okay. Like, it wasn't a bad job.
There's a whole lot a whole lot of other jobs out there I could think that I could do that would be
Fine.
easier or less stressful.
Absolutely. So, like, what is it then that keeps you coming back to teaching?
I mean, I guess it's kids, right? There's something, I think, fun and playful and youthful about being around children in general. I like the idea of, in the big picture, teaching people to be good people.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's two sides to that. People are like, well, they should go to school to reading, writing, arithmetic, and that's it.
We shouldn't have to teach them all the other stuff.
There's all this other stuff,
Yeah.
but
There's a camp like that.
yeah, and like, to a point, yes, but there's also, like, if they're not getting socialized in a meaningful way at home, or like going out of the house and having experiences with different types of people, social skills also need to be taught. So
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
and it's
and not
different every day.
everybody-
Like, you can have a bad day and come the next day, and kids, it's a pretty forgiving environment, and I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
kids
fresh
kids
page
are
every
way
day.
more forgiving than adults are. That's for sure. Like, I think that, like, it is a wholly different environment, and it is, kids, like you said, like, it's refreshing almost. Like, there's days that you go in and you're like, they just crack me up.
Yeah.
And I
They
do
break your
think that,
heart.
like, they break your heart sometimes. And I think that, like, the camp that does say, like, we shouldn't be having to teach social emotional skills, and we shouldn't have to do, you're probably right. We shouldn't have to. It should just be, in a perfect world, they're getting that at home, right? Like, that's...
Or society, their neighborhood,
But here's the thing, and that's actually, like, part of why I teach, or why I even, before teaching, worked with youth group or prison ministry, things like that I've done, is because, and now, like, especially with this age group that I work with at that secondary level, is because, like, I feel like a lot of education is still built with that ideal in mind, and there are unfortunately so many kids that just don't have that at home. They just don't. And I remember growing up, and there was so much going on in my house, that school was my safe place.
Mm-hmm.
School, my teachers were my safe people that I could talk to. And, I think about that, especially when you have, so for, you think about trauma responses and things like that. Like, as teachers, we often get frustrated with kids that act out, or sometimes we're frustrated because there's that kid in the back that won't do anything, or we're frustrated, like, it's like, but usually those are like, that comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
That is evidence that we don't live in that ideal.
Yeah. And I see myself in...
And it is frustrating.
'Cause
Like, to be honest, like,
see-
I still get frustrated.
Yeah. And you see yourself in different... Every year, there's a kid that's like,
Yeah.
oh, that kid was me.
Yep.
Or that
Oh,
kid's a version of
100%.
me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what can I do?
What would I have needed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To make that person more successful.
Yeah. And I think that the more we can think about kids that way,
academically or socially or
Yeah.
behaviorally, any of those ways.
what is it like? What's the need that I can fulfill? Because the other part of it is that like psychology wise, if a kiddo's needs aren't being met, like if they don't have a safe place to land, they can't learn anyway. And so if we can't provide that at the school, then there's nowhere for them to feel safe, and then they aren't going to get the learning that they need to get.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite teachers were the ones that understood that and didn't let me just sit, right? Like I was the kid that was extremely quiet. There were certain classes I worked really hard in, but there were some that I just didn't. By high school, I was like, one of my favorite memories in high school, I would just not go to class a lot of the time. But my best friend lived across the street, and she and I would often walk over to her house in lieu of class. And there was a day that we were doing that, and I didn't even, like, you're a kid and you don't think about it, but the class I was supposed to be in, we walked like kind of in front of, but like we were outside the building, but like you could see us from the window walking across the street. And Mr. Patterson he stopped his lesson, opened the window, and was like, "Hey, you're supposed to be in class right now." And I like froze, and he was like, "I won't mark you absent if you turn around." And I turned around. Like, it was just like he didn't hold it against me either. Like, I walked in and he was like, "Here's what we're working on."
Yeah.
And he changed the attendance, and that was that. And I didn't have to explain to my mom that I was ditching, right? But like, my favorite teachers were always the ones that were like, "Kiddo," and just gave you fresh chances and choices. And there was one day in his class that I was like leaning over somebody else that we were doing a spelling test, because this is back in the day when we used to do those in high school. And I can't spell for anything. If you know me, like
I tell the kids I can't either, so.
I just can't. And so I spelled up until junior year in high school. And this is actually a core memory of mine. A core memory. I remember spelling very with 2 R's, because berry is spelled with 2, like in my brain, like that was how and I remember doing that, and one of my friends was like, "Did you just put 2 R's in berry?" And I like, so it's one of the, like, I was actually kind of embarrassed, and I was like, "Yeah, is that how it's spelled?" Like, I could not spell. Anyway, so we're in this like spelling test, and I'm leaning over to see how to spell a word, and Mr. Patterson goes, "Hey, Rebecca, if you're gonna cheat, can you make it less obvious so I don't have to mark you down?" I was like, oh, I got caught. But it wasn't that I was in trouble. It was just like, "I see you."
Yeah.
And it didn't take this punitive, like, "I guess you get a 0 now. I guess I'm calling home because you're cheating." It was just like, come on, kiddo, Mm. So I think about that, like, because we do have those kids that are similar, that are making choices, because that's what you do as a kid. You just try something out, and if it works, great. If not, you pivot, right? Because that's like your brain is doing all the things. I always appreciated those teachers that didn't hold it against me when I was trying something new.
Yeah.
Especially if that was a new thing that was not a good choice. Like cheating or skipping class. So yeah, I think, like you said, showing up in that way that you probably needed as a kid.
Yeah.
You see yourself completely different. So you were a different I was the quiet, like, not very good student. You were like a really good student.
But the kids I see they're not involved in those kind of things. So it's like, for me, I was like, oh, he's the talkative one who will rush through his work.
Fun fact
just
about
to talk.
you. So fun fact about Tyler, he was so excited about school that on his very first, it was a kindergarten,
It was like one of the kindergarten or first grade.
he jumped out of the moving car.
Yeah.
He was
Astro
so,
Van.
yeah, was so excited to be there that he went ahead and just jumped out of the moving car. That was Tyler.
Not like it was pulling into the bus thing. The drop
It was
off.
still a
But
moving
it was still
car,
moving.
and you were like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked school. I liked the social aspect of it.
yeah,
And teachers didn't necessarily like having somebody complete all their work and then pull everybody off task.
So
or be a class clown, or
he
like
was
do all the other.
yeah, like
opposite.
those kids are equally frustrating sometimes.
Yeah. If
When
you're
you're
not
like-
challenging them, or
Yeah,
keep
like
it-
he was your typical tag kid.
I don't know if I was tagged, but
I would say you were tag, but tag means talented and gifted. Like he was super smart and capable, and
I just wanted to talk.
I say was. He is super smart and capable. Didn't
Yeah.
need to make that past tense.
Yeah.
I believe in you, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how do you show up for those kids these days?
I mean, it's good teaching. It's just differentiation, and it's being and having humor, and not being so like necessarily strict. Like, I'm a warm demander.
Warm demander.
That's like another teacher thing.
That is another teacher
Or
phrase.
it's like and it makes sense. It is exactly what it is. It's you're warm, and you get along with the kids, but you also I set a high bar and
Mm-hmm.
expect the kids can do more than what they've been told or what they believe in themselves, and keep them
Yeah. I think that's important.
and hold them to it, like get them there. So
Yeah, I think that by the time kids even reach you, sometimes I think it's by the time they reach me, but I think even younger now. Like I just took a survey of all my students on like day 2, and one of the questions I ask is, do you consider yourself to be a good writer or a good reader? And without fail, almost like 90% of
Yeah.
students are like, no.
it for sure drops significantly. Like kindergarten, everybody's awesome at everything.
Everybody's awesome. Yeah, like yes, I
they're
can
singers,
do
they're artists, they're good at
Evan-
everything in kindergarten, and even by 5th grade,
that. I was just like third
It's-
grade. Evan was like
yeah.
writing books. Yeah,
it drops off
and then
probably significantly.
yeah,
There's
they
probably
start-
some like specific like statistic on it, but it is sad.
It is sad to start seeing, and so it's like you said, like how can you build?
I think it's
into
self-awareness in the brain development that they start to see, and maybe
Well-
put themselves in like seeing how their peers are doing in certain things, and then they kind of like
That. And I think sometimes
grasp that.
it's like opening up the like. I don't even know how to say it, but like not being so elusive about how to like get a good grade or how like what's
Yeah.
like actually clearly defining expectations, and here's like a rubric, and here's how, because I remember being like I honestly was completely baffled for a long time about certain classes and how to pass them.
Yeah.
Like I knew you do the work, but I would do the work and still get a bad grade, so I was like I don't know.
Or it's just even just being the whole positive mindset.
Yeah.
Yet, like, I can't do it yet.
Yeah. Well, and that's so like one of the follow-up questions that I have is around that like belief, and it's I believe that writing is a skill you can grow in and like become good at, and or I believe that writing is a skill that some people are just born with. And I feel like that's an obvious answer as somebody who has worked as a writer and also been told I'm not a good writer. Like, like there's both in my life have been true, like by different standards or whatever. And, yeah, I feel like what's interesting in their answers is that it's not cut and dry. Yes, it's something you can develop. Like almost half of them are like, no, it's just something you're like born good at, I guess, like any other talent,
Yeah.
right? but you don't think of like certain things as a skill either that you can develop. You just think of it as like,
Yeah.
I'm naturally this
Yeah.
inclined.
And that's something that I know I discuss a lot with anything, like whether it's a sport, because the kids will relate to sports or things like that. And it's just any academic skill is very much the same, where
Yeah.
you're not going to wake up one day and be amazing at it. You're going to have to put the time in and grind sometimes.
Yeah. And you just got to, like, in order to become better at anything, you have to do the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's teaching them that, and that's our job, is to teach them that, really. Like,
Yeah.
that's the whole of education, is like, no matter what subject area you teach, you're teaching them that, like, they can.
You want to end it with funny classroom moments?
Go ahead.
Doesn't have to be. It
I'll
doesn't
let
have
you
to be
go.
funny. Just a memorable
I mean, middle school is
classroom
always funny,
moment.
but
I have a lot.
you share your best one. But that's tall order. I'm gonna let you go first.
My very first year, it was like the first week of school. I was fourth grade teacher, but I had like morning duty.
Mm-hmm.
So like kids were coming to school, and then you were directing, kids where to line up. And he was probably a kindergartner, and he was handing out $100 bills to people. And then so kids would come up and like, look, Mr. Messenger, I have $200 that so-and-so gave me. And you're like, okay, like, probably not, right? And then he showed me, and it was legitimate.
Oh, no.
Like, kids with hundreds of dollars from this little tiny kid.
How did I never hear this story before?
You probably had. And so it ended up letting the principal know, and it took a lot of figuring it out, but basically the kid grabbed, like, his parents had their rent on the countertop, and he was just being generous with his parents' rent. And so we were able to recover all the money and give it back to his parents, because his parents would have been pretty flustered if they would have obviously lost a month's worth of rent, just giving it to some bunch of elementary kids running around with a couple $100. So that was probably the, like, and as a new teacher, you're like, what? Like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
yeah,
probably
that's
one that sticks out, only because it's also early in my career.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can think of a lot. If you're friends with me on Facebook or whatever, I share a lot.
Yeah, more than I do.
Because kids are always funny. I will say there was one year, and I think it was also my first year teaching. I had this kid who shared with me that he really likes, like, he was like, he likes it when his teachers give him a hard time, or like, that camaraderie, like we were kind of talking through, and he was like, yeah, I just think it's kind of fun. And so we would like go back and forth a little bit, like roasting each other is what he would say. It's like, we roast each other. And we would just say like little, joking or whatever. And he was like, well, and cause he thought it was hilarious that you couldn't get under my skin either. He was like, it was all like, it was just whatever. Great kid, like super sweet and whatever. And he would like pop by my room, like he would be on his way to another class, but he thought of a good joke to like roast me with, and then he would say it, and I was like, keep trying, kid, Anyway, parent teacher conferences came, and it was like drop in, and they go to each teacher, because it's middle school, so they have multiple. And I had like this room full of parents, and this kiddo walks in with his dad, and he's like, this is Miss Messenger's room, and she's amazing at roasting kids, blah, blah. And he just starts like, and he just meant it so nice, but I was like, oh my gosh, hopefully, like, I don't want you to just think that's all I do. And I was like, well, I don't roast kid, like, no. And it was like, I was so flustered, and like, thankfully, again, his parents and like the parents in the room thought it was funny, and they're like, well, and you could tell that like that's why he enjoyed it, because his parents are the same way or whatever. But like, it was just kind of funny, because like in middle school you use a lot of sarcasm, and you're just kind of like have fun, and that's like what you do with kids. I mean, like, I use their lingo, or like no aura farming, things like that, and just kind of like But yeah, that was one that I don't know if I will ever forget, because I remember being just like mortified that he's like, she's so good at roasting people.
Yeah. My teacher's good at making fun of me.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's
Yeah.
not what's happening.
Something you don't want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, because
That's a
that's
good
not what was happening.
That's a good
It
one,
was-
yeah.
anyway. So, there's lots of others. And the thing about teaching is that, like, there's so many kids that, like, years later you do think about, and you just enjoy the heck out of them, like you said. Like, it's just...
Pretty much it's a thankless job for the most part, but then when you do get a letter or an email from a parent or a student,
It's so
current,
meaningful.
past,
I keep
it's
them.
amazing.
I keep the letters, from like parents who are like, hey, my kid never used to love writing and now they love it.
Yeah.
Or thanks for helping them connect. Like, I had one 2 years ago where the mom was like, he never wanted to go to school until this year, and he said it's because of your class.
Yeah. Or the
Yeah.
parents change teachers to get you because of an older sibling and things like that.
Yeah, I have a kiddo this year that I've taught. There's 4 kids, and he's the third in line. I'm just getting all of them from the family, and I love it when that happens. So, yeah, because then you can like check in on those other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your sister up to?
Yeah, it's fun. So, know that teachers hang on those words. If you ever feel like maybe you should say something nice, or let them know that your kiddo said something nice, or like, yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
We need to, like, we love that, because that is part of our why. Like, we want to know we're making a difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Happy first week of school.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back. And we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.